Hello, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Career IQ. I'm your host, Darryl Jackson of Patrice and Associates Recruiting. Today, my co-host, Chef Gary Kinsey, and I will be chatting about what employees expect in their crucial first 30, 60, and 90 days of employment. And make sure you watch to the end as Chef Kinsey will share a dish in our Culinary Corner. You won't want to miss it. So without further ado, let's dive right into this insightful episode. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey guys, I'm Darryl Jackson.
And I'm Chef Gary Kinsey.
And thank you guys for tuning in again. Today we're going to be talking about a very important subject in terms of what the employees are looking for within the first 30, 60, 90 days. Something very important to both of us because we both have, had to hire people and, create an environment for them to work. And sometimes we have to also create, if we lost people, we had to do an exit interview to kind of understand why they were leaving. And so that kind of gives us an idea, of what we need to work on, things, because it's very tough to hire people. And you have to do all the training. It's a lot of downtime. So the goal is how can you retain them? So Chef had a great idea to talk about the 30, 60, and 90 and what they're expecting. Chef is also going to be cooking at the same time because he's going to be presenting a dish, easy dish that you can also do at home. So, Chef, so you want to talk about your thoughts in regards to the 30, 60, 90? What are some of the employees looking for in the culinary world in the first 30, 60, 90 days? What are your thoughts?
For me, I believe that the first 30 days to see if an employee is even going to stay. You could tell if an employee is comfortable or, satisfied with the work environment in the first 30 days. In the first 30 days, you've received 2 checks. So now you either can tell whether or not financially that basically handles your financial responsibilities, or you just don't like the work atmosphere. The first 30 days is for the employee. It saved the company money before they start receiving benefits and things like that. And then, to hold them on for 60 to 90 days, and then they quit, you now have to go into the unemployment mode and pay out and things like that. So, the first 30 days for yourself, the employee, make sure you're satisfied, because the first 30 days will decide whether or not you can go home and look forward to waking up for work the next day. So Make sure you like something. Just don't run into it for a paycheck. Run into stuff that you love getting up for, and then you will progress faster and efficiently.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times the employer always has an idea of what they want to do with onboarding, and they have a very simple plan or a very strategic plan on onboarding, whether it be training, getting a chance to know everybody, whether it be in getting certified or just getting them acclimated to their surrounding, introducing them to the team and so forth. Just depends on what level you're coming in at. I think a lot of times what happens is, we worry about our 30, 60, 90 days to get them onboarded fast as possible. But we also, and depending on how fast that pace is, sometimes you got to look at if the pace is too fast, then it may be sending the wrong signal to that person, because is it organized? Is it very strategic? Does it make sense? Your onboarding, have you had a chance to reevaluate your onboarding plan? And I think people need to look at that too. What are your thoughts?
Right. To piggyback on that, to go into the 90 days, that's when it becomes, the 90 days is for both the employer and it's for the employer, but it's also mainly for the employee. This is the time where you say, you've made it to 90 days, and but you need training. Everything has gone so fast that you haven't gotten the right training, and you want to do your job correctly, so you need those trainings so you can voice your concerns and anything that's troubling you about the job in the 90 days without having to worry about being terminated and things like that, because now it costs the company money, to get rid of someone that they kept on board for 90 days. So, you know, it gives you time to go ahead and voice your opinions and say, I need more training. Although I made it to 90 days, I think I'm struggling in this position. Maybe they can put you somewhere else, because it's a fact that they like you. It's a fact that they want to keep you, or they would have got rid of you. You
Right.
have the chance to voice your opinions at that time, but don't continue to do what was you were struggling with in the first 30 to 60 to 90 days. Now you can voice your concerns and either move around, get the proper training, or, you know, get in a place that fits you.
Yeah.
They may determine that the position they put you in for 90 days is not your position. They have another position that's open for you, move you there, and hire someone else to cover your position rather than get rid of you because of your work ethic.
Yeah, and one of the things I had an opportunity to do, Chef, I had the chance to do like a private shopper for a client, you know, that we do recruiting for, and so I got a chance to kind of work side by side by the employees and kind of try, you know, check out what type of environment I was walking in, because a lot of times you have employees wondering why they're losing people. The turnover is so bad, right? And so we have to, you know, I think sometimes you have to check yourself, because we have so much pride in the things that we're doing, but we don't really check, you know, do a 360 on our own operation to see if it's actually what we say it is. You know, so, you know, and what I found in this particular opportunity is that, you know, that the staff was, you know, or the environment wasn't as clean as I thought it would be, should be. The onboarding for the team was not as organized as they thought it was. Now, the staff was very kind. The supervisors were very kind. Everybody was super friendly. But you know, there was nothing in writing. It was just really quick. You're giving me a lot of information to try to learn. But, you know, who do I shadow? Sometimes
Right.
I think you got to give someone a person to shadow with. You know, when you're onboarding, that is like a buddy. It's like you're gonna be a buddy with this person for a week or two or whatever that looks like. Whenever they're scheduled, you're scheduled. You know, and I think that works out a lot to kind of help. But the feedback I was able to give back to them was that, you know, I think there's some work that needs to be done in order to help with the longevity of onboarding of new staff members, or new team members, I should say.
Right. You
So,
know,
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
another thing that comes to mind and kind of off topic is one of the things that I like to do when I go into a new employer in the first 30 days is, especially if it's one of those revolving, especially if it's one, let me just hang this one up.
Uh-oh.
I'm so sorry. My daughter was calling and I pushed in.
That's okay.
So
We
it wouldn't
lost
answer, but you just.
Yeah, we lost you for a brief second, but you're back on, so you're good.
All right.
So as you were saying?
So, you know, the first thing I want to check when the first 30 days is with that revolving door is how many of the seasoned employees with longevity, how many of them are there, and what's the age gap? Like, are there people in their 20s still there that's been there for 5 years, with those who are 50 to almost 60 who are about to retire? Now, those are the people you want to pay attention to. You don't want to pay attention to new people who is coming on board just as you are, because their experience with the job may be completely different than yours. You got to pay attention to those that have been there, have longevity. Ask, you know, talk to them. Find out why they've been there. If you're a person that's punctual, and every time you're in the office or in the locker room or wherever you're at, and you see the same people the same time as you every morning, those are people you want to talk to. They're going to give you their honest opinion. They're going to give you years of experience of, you know, what they've gone through, what they think about the employment, and things like that, and what to expect in 5 years since you've been here 5 to 15 years. What to expect that time. Does the job recognize you in that time frame? You know, is there any rewards for being a person who's on time every day and doing their job? Those are the people you need to talk to. Those are the people that's going to give you the honest answers. Those are the people that's going to tell you whether or not it's worth your time, in some type of form or way. You know, but most of the time, people who've been there for so long are happy with what they're doing. You got to get passionate people in an organization, in an industry like this. You know, this job is tough.
Well, so let me ask you a question though. You said just asking the ones who really have the passion about it. What about those who don't? What do
Well, you
you?
will never know about those who don't until they show their true colors. Their resumes and their excitement to get the
Mhm.
job said that. But then once they get there, they're, they're completely different. I gotta say this, like I meet a lot of people that says, "Oh, I want to get a job there and do exactly what you're doing," but you can't because I have the
Mhm.
experience. See, people got to understand when I got out of college of paying all of that money to Johnson and Wells, I made $15 an hour. I had to be a prep cook. I had to be pantry. I had to be first cook, second cook, third cook. Then I had to be lead cook. Then I had to be supervisor. Then I had to become sous chef to executive chef. You asked me once before, how did you move so fast? I paid attention to the assignment. I
Mhm.
understood the assignment. You got to
Yeah,
put in work.
but not everybody's like you though, Chef. I mean, you're driven. You have a lot of passion, and I think a lot of times what happens is that I don't want to discount the idea that those who are not as passionate as we would like them to be, or to our standards. I think you still need to make sure that you're asking them questions, not in regard. I wouldn't say I'm partnering, onboarding, using them to help onboard people, right? Because
Right.
I don't want that bad vibe poisoning a new employee, a new team member, right? But I would also ask them, 360, just more or less, why do you do what you're doing? Why do you come here? What makes you happier? What gets you fired up at work? What inspires you? And I think a lot of times if you can find out what that is, you may be able to capture them or either help them or see if they can find their way somewhere else. You know, but you definitely don't want them partner up with your new employees because you don't want that cancer, right? You
Right.
definitely don't want that cancer. So that's just my thoughts. Um, but the 90 days is very important too, Chef, because you're right. You want to make sure they are basically in the right place. Um,
Right.
they're sizing you up. They're sizing your whole team, the organization, how they're spoken to, um, everything. Is it a good vibe? Uh, and so that's going to help them determine on whether or not they're looking forward to coming back to work tomorrow. And that's very important to them.
Right.
So,
But in the past month, my job has been a revolving door and nothing short of like just, the new generation too. They come in with different attitudes than they did years ago with the job.
mhm,
Um, and again, culinary, back of the house, front of the house, hospitality, it's not an easy job.
it's not.
Our job is to deal with the public or deal with customer service. Customer service must be the first thing that you had, even if you're in the way back of the kitchen. You understand? Customer service. And, someone walked out the other day because they had to pick up a bag of onions. What I mean by that is we're short a purchasing person who puts away the delivery. As a team member, a team helps put away
Yeah.
what we don't have. Now, it just proves that you're not a team member. Everyone else might think in their head, oh, the chef did another one. The chef got rid of another one. The chef is doing us a favor. He's getting rid of a person who's not a team player. That affects us. So people sometimes don't look at why people are walking out. They think it's the chefs being mean. They think it's the chef being, they're not managing correctly. And that's not true. When I see that happen and I find out what it was for, the chef just saved us.
Well,
He
you
didn't
have
want to
a
pick up a 50
but
pound
you
bag of onions and put them in the storeroom. That's it.
But you have a level of professional maturity, though. How do you get the rest of the team to understand that? Because you got to keep in mind, you have years of experience, so
I do.
you have it's 3 dimensional. You see things for long term. You see things in a bigger picture, whereas some employees don't see it like that. They don't. How can you help them get to see the picture that you're seeing?
Well, I always explain it just like I just explained to you. I pull them
Yeah.
aside and say, listen, think about what just happened back there. The guy didn't want to, pick
Right.
up 80 pounds, I mean, it's 50-pound bag of onions and put them away. I don't care if you're a cashier at ShopRite, Publix, wherever you shop. On the application, it says must be able to pick up 25 to 50 pounds. They say that for a reason. But at the end of the day, you got to think about this is part of the industry. No one's bringing 50 pounds of onions to your station when you need them. You must go get them. So why can't you just put them away? Looking out for a team. You cannot have someone stabbing you in the back in the kitchen. So you need to have loyalty, you need to have respect, and you need to have teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Well, let me ask you a question though. If that person left, there had to be some other signs that before just then, right? So there had to be some other characteristics from that person.
He wasn't there for a week.
He was only there for a week.
He was only there for a week, but this happens with a lot of people that come in for a week, especially the dishwashers. And you have a $2 million dishwasher machine, high technology that you've never seen anywhere else. But it's just they don't want to take constructive criticism. You can tell a person and train them, and then they have to, they do it completely opposite. Gotcha. Remember, we have people's health at the temperatures of your water's got to be right. If a chef's telling you to document your temps on the dishwasher every single day, do your test strips on the sanitizer, do all of those things, and you're not doing them, at some point the chef's got to come to you in a different way than they've been coming to you the first 5 times they asked you to do that. Because here's what happened. If a health inspector comes in off the street and shuts the whole building down because of the dishwasher who didn't want to listen, then we're supposed to be like, oh, it's okay, no worry. We'll get back together. We'll open up again. We know it was a mistake. You can't do that.
Yeah, and so a role like that is very essential, but they don't feel like it's that important. So it's like they're easy to just, jump ship, and I think, in a lot of times when you're moving up to a cook position, a lot of times that's where you start is at a dishwasher. Back when I was younger.
Right. And you should start as a dishwasher.
Yeah. You come through, you understand the importance of it. I think it's a little different now because people are going to school for everything, and which they should. I'm not discouraging that. But there's also a school of hard knocks where you can learn everything in the kitchen from dishwashing to prep work to helping out with different dishes or whatever that may be, but you're filling in, doing everything in the kitchen. That's part of the onboarding. That's part of development, growth and development of someone that's moving from a dishwasher to a chef eventually at some point in their life. If that's where they're choosing to go, if that's their destination,
Right. And you can do all of those things without school and receive the same certificates that everyone else in the kitchen has. You know what I mean? So
that's very true. Well, it's funny you say that. I think some of the places I work, Chef, we developed our training program, and it's really about onboarding the buddy system and helping them get to the next level. So, are you ready to talk about your dish today?
Absolutely. I'm just training my pasta.
All right, so I'm gonna let you take over on that part, my friend, and I just want to listen in on what you're doing. All right.
All right. So right now, what I did was I'm making a vegan pasta with a blush sauce. A blush sauce basically would be my creamy Alfredo and just a regular red sauce, kind of blended in with each other. The flavors are phenomenal if you get the red sauce right, and then you get the white sauce right. 2 things can happen here. So tomato sauce is a mother sauce. White sauce is a mother sauce, which is the bechamel. So from this bechamel, what I don't use, I can change it into a white caper sauce, lemon sauce, Alfredo tomorrow, or whatever. Tomato sauce, I can turn into a marinara. I can turn into, a million different things. So I make it like this so I can basically just keep it if I need to. So that's the first secret. We can talk to, it's not even a secret. We can talk more about mother sauces another day in my DM or whatever if you want to learn about what those are, and just keep them in your refrigerator during the week. That way you can make a million different things without having to make one sauce. So right now I'm going to plate it up. So let me see if I can turn this here. I think I can. I'm not going to hang up, Darryl, here.
Yeah, you're about to hang up again. Watch.
Yeah, so here I have the pasta here. Then I have the red sauce simmering. I made the red sauce. It's not from a can or a cup. I keep it. Remember that. And then I have a nice little white sauce right here. All right. Now I can just have a pasta with a white sauce or with the red sauce. I can add meat to it, but I want it to be a vegan blend. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plate it up, and I'm going to just turn the camera towards me and aim it down at the plate I'm going to use. All right. So I'm going to show you how to do a plate up where it's elegant with a inexpensive meal like pasta. Some people may want to cook for their husband or their wife and don't have a lot of money and don't know what to do. And I tell you, if you're
girlfriend or boyfriend, don't forget about those now. Okay.
Girlfriend or boyfriend, partners, whoever you want to cook for. So let me go ahead and get the right spoon here. So I'm going to go ahead and use a 4-ounce spoon. The 4-ounce spoon will help me measure 4 ounces of pasta when you want to do just portion size. But the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to add some of my red sauce into my white sauce.
All right, now.
All right, and now you can see, you change it back here, that is more of a blush sauce. It's not red, it's a blush color, right? And that changes the game. So now what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of olive oil. So extra virgin olive oil, what people don't know is when we rinse pasta or even strain it, it loses some of its enriched flour, gluten flavor. These oils are so expensive because they bring back the Italian flavor to pasta and also keep it from sticking. But that's the flavor for the pasta. And then I just want to go ahead and mix it around. And then it can sit without you having to pull it. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and show you.
Okay.
I'm going to grab some pasta out of here. I'll bring it in front of the camera in a minute. I just want to get it. So as you can see here, I have the pasta and I have my 5-ounce spoon. It's just hanging. I take my spoon and I turn it. Some's going to drop. It's not what it was supposed to do, but I'm going to try to be talented here. Get rid of some of the pasta. And I'm just going to drop my pasta right in the middle of the plate. Now, you see how we did that there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know on my plate is 4 ounces of pasta. I don't have to worry about, weighing it on the scale because I use the right spoon. All right. And then, now I could have mixed my sauce into the pasta and got everything wet.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't. So I want to just get me a ladle here. Well, I'll just use the spoon instead. And then I just want to go ahead and lay the sauce on top. Now the sauce is going to go through the pasta. Although you don't have to smother it with sauce. If you made the sauce good, it's going to come out in the flavor.
Okay.
All right. So now what I want to do is just add some spices on top that will stand out. No salt. And then the last thing I want to do is, what was I going to do here? Add some black pepper to the side. And I add it to the side because if you don't like black pepper, which is the superfood, you can drag your pasta through it. So that was real quick. It was real simple. If you want to add chicken, beef, or whatever you want to do, you can. And this is basically what it would look like.
Okay.
From all angles, really quick. If your boyfriend, wife, girlfriend, they're hungry and you got pasta in the kitchen, you can go in there instead of just spooning up and putting a bunch on the plate. You know what I mean? You can put it in portions.
Would you do a vegetable with that, or would you do something? What would you accompany that with?
So you can do a vegetable, broccoli, you can do anything with. However, you got to think that you add a tomato sauce in there and you're portioning meals. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure you have 4 ounces of starch and you have the 2 ounces of vegetable. That's 2 ounces of vegetable that's in there.
Oh, it's
People keep
already in there.
mistaking that, when you're adding things like tomato sauce, peppers, no matter how they get in there, add the right ounce of, if you're going to chop peppers up, if you put 4 ounces of peppers in there, you've gotten your vegetable.
I'm a bread guy. I'm a bread guy. Can I have a baguette or something with that? Or
yeah, absolutely. You can have a baguette, but that too must be measured. You can't have 4 ounces of pasta and then get yourself a 8-inch long piece of bread, or 6-inch or 6 pieces of 6 loaves of bread on the side.
Well, I appreciate.
And the reason for this is once you put a portion on your plate, when you're done, you can go get another portion. Keep putting it in portions because then you can add up how many portions you've eaten. When we go to barbecues, the first thing that people do is they buy the biggest plates they can find in the store. And then they set up the buffet around their yard and everyone's filling everything on their plate because they're eating with their eyes. But at the end of the day, they threw them half of that food away because they weren't hungry. They just wanted it on their plate to try everything.
Yeah, I agree, man.
So that's how that ends up working.
Well, Chef, that was a great. Thank you for doing the entree tonight. I really appreciate it, and I think it was a great segment again tonight, talking about what employees are expecting. And there's got to be a chance where people are kind of understanding, not just based on their own expectations of the employee, but what the employees are also expecting of you in the environment that they're working in. And again, thanks for the entree, my friend.
You're very welcome.
Anything you want to add before we finish up?
I just want to say that, again, this is culinary, front of the house or back of the house, is not an easy industry, but, give it a chance, learn what you can learn, and take criticism with a grain of salt. And basically, you'll be okay. Sometimes you're tested on that. Sometimes you have to be mentally tested on that, just to make sure that you're not going to turn around and harm someone, when things get going. Sometimes you spend a lot of time at work with people more than you spend with your family. And it can get frustrating, it can get aggravating, and they need to know that you can mentally deal with other people who may be mentally, ready to give it all up. We've got to start encouraging and awarding each other. Compliment your coworkers. Let them know that, you think that they are dope. And, let them know that you think that they are fabulous. And be sincere about it. We've got to start complimenting each other at the workplace, right. And life would be better.
I agree. Well said, Chef. I don't have to add anything to that. With that, I think everybody just has to be kind to one another. And with that being said, I am Darryl Jackson.
And I'm Chef Gary Kinsey.
And thank you guys for tuning in for another segment. And we'll see you on the next video. Hey, before you go, I need your help in growing this channel. If you enjoyed the video today and what you heard the contents of, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And also comment on some of the topics you'd like to hear in the future. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great one. Bye-bye.